the big slam from Pepsi. One ice-cold liter of Pepsi.
To video, they designed what they thought was the perfect toy.
I'm talking about toys when kids play with them.
That great taste of frosting.
Slow down there.
Strokes, less irritation. Mach 3.
Wait, change it back.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new podcast for the channel. This is Wing Wednesdays, the first episode we have ever had on the show. It's the longest running show on YouTube that you've actually never seen before. So welcome, hello, and let me do the honors of introducing, for the first time, our brand new co-host, Joe Rosie. You're muted.
Boomer mistake, but I'm
Everything
here.
is going perfectly. What's up, Joe?
Hello. Apparently, I've never done this before. Hello. How are you, X-Wing?
I do that pretty consistently every time I start a like a gaming stream or something. I'm like, fucking idiot. Damn it. How many years do I have to do this before I stop doing that? Yeah, it's beautiful, but you know, this is live television. So what are you going to do?
Absolutely. And you know what? It's all good because it is our inaugural episode. So let's get all that, you know, rust off the wheels and whatnot today before we become a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, we're going to shake this off. What's up, chat? There are 212 beautiful people in here today. I apologize for being late. We ran a little late over on Bro Science. So if you ever show up for Wing Wednesday and you're like, yo, where is this guy? Pop over to Fear the Beardo and you will see we will be running a little bit late over there. So I'll try to throw it in the chat next time, just as a precautionary. If you show up here and we're not running, it's because I'm over on Bro Science and we're just running late. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. Whew. This is the first time I've ever done like a 2.5 hour podcast and then immediately hit the intro on the next podcast. So this is a new experience for me. You're fresh. You're ready, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just got off of work. So yeah, there's that.
I feel that too. Actually, I start work at 5 a.m. I took off from work an hour early directly into the podcast, had enough time to shave my face, ran that podcast. Now we're into this one. So I'm like, ugh.
So no one can say you're not dedicated to your craft, X-Wing.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So chat,
I'm
this is
just
for
bad
you.
at it. Just bad at it. I want to say what's up to the chat. Hello, everybody. I can't usually do what I usually do, where I say hi to absolutely everybody, because we got way too many people in here. But to all you beautiful people, we've got a couple A couple things right off the bat. Ted's Nerd World, my good friend, gifted 1 X-Wing membership. Thank you, brother. It's good to see you here. War Wizard for $1.99 says, apologizing with money. Hail, bro. Sorry, I spoiled. Yeah, we were talking about the movie Fanboys. Have you ever seen that before?
I have not.
It's a movie from 2009 about a bunch of nerds that try to break into Skywalker Ranch and steal a copy of the Phantom Menace because their buddy's dying of cancer and he wants to see it before he dies.
That's amazing. And also, I feel like that's an episode of, I know how people feel about the Big Bang Theory, but I'm pretty sure they did that on an episode of the Big Bang Theory where
I hate that show.
So does everybody. But I mean, I think I'm one of the rare nerds and geeks where every time they actually made a reference that was correct or something, and I'm like, my sister
a little bit.
Yeah, but my sister's an anti-geek. She doesn't get any of it, and
what is an anti-geek?
She was a popular kid in school who just likes like clothes and boys and Karate Kid, and so.
Well, Karate Kid is good. That's a good thing.
Well, I mean, back in the 80s, she was. Is that 80s? Is that 80s or 90s?
Yeah, I think
that's
it's
80s. Yeah.
Daniel-san. Margaret Riggle for 2 says, hello again, X-Wing. So nice to see you, Joe Rosie.
Hello, Margaret.
Thank you for being here, Margaret. And Malty Maldi says, Malty Maldi became a YouTube member. I don't have my actual YouTube stream open. So was that a member chat or did you become a member? You did. You became a new member. Welcome, brother, to the X-Force. Good to have you here. Okay. So to anybody who doesn't know, this is going to be whatever the hell we want it to be. Wing Wednesdays are going to be about whatever's clever, what we're talking about. It's going to be everything from every sect of every side of the internet and everywhere else. We're just going to talk about all good things, all interesting things. Gaming news, movie reviews, politics, maybe slightly politics. And, oh my God, look at this. Check this out. Nathan Emmert, my first subscriber ever, here in the chat.
Isn't that a little derivative? What does he mean by that?
I don't know. Tell us, Nathan. What are you talking about? All right. What's our first thing on the list for today?
We were actually going to start out with I'm surprised you wanted to start out with such a hot topic, or a strong topic like Zuckerberg. But this actually broke, I think, yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday? I don't know. News moves so fast. But Zuck surprised and shocked the world by posting a letter to the House Judiciary Committee, basically going, my bad. I actually did do everything that, all those crazy conservatives accused me of. And I throttled Facebook and censored people, which is crazy. It's weird. I mean, I don't know. Is it weird to see all the people now going, yeah, you know what? We were wrong.
So how many times has this legitimately happened, though, in the past, 4 years, where people are screaming at the top of their lungs, hey, this is wrong. What you guys are doing is wrong. And they get, oddly enough, censored. They're like, hey, stop it. You're a conspiracy theorist. This is a free market. It doesn't matter what your opinions are. We support free speech, blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out 2-3 years later, they're like, oh yeah, we were totally doing that. We were suppressing. And this is the ugly thing about censorship, is that a lot of people think when it comes to censorship, it's somebody, taking key words out of a document, somebody, not allowing somebody to say, but it's really more of a suppression of one side and the bolstering of another. That's the ugly side of censorship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's crazy because it's Meta, so it's IG too. A lot of people don't realize that Zuck also does IG, but I actually, for those who don't,
he runs Instagram.
Yeah, Meta basically bought Facebook, which became Meta, then bought IG, which in my opinion is a little bit of a monopoly, but thanks to X being, by Elon being so. The opposite being supposedly free speech, or as close to free speech as you can get. It's not a true monopoly, but yeah, IG was the main platform for a lot of conservative folk. A lot of I come from the gun industry. For those who don't know where I came from, I actually used to be a Second Amendment advocate. And a lot of people had their platform there, and in the last year and a half since their new policies have come out where they censor content and shadow ban people have careers and advocacy programs have just basically like fallen apart because that's how powerful the algorithm is. If you hide people's posts and you hide people's content, you're never going to see it.
So this is the crazy part. It's in the, I think the third, or I guess the second paragraph after the letterhead there. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire. That's the crazy part. So it didn't matter if you were making a joke or meme or whatever, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take content down, and we own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. So that's straight up just admitting it. Everything that everybody said, like, bro, I feel like most people don't feel this way about this. And they just came out and were like, yeah, we hid the shit out of it.
Well, yeah. I don't know what's really going on. If he is starting to change his political alliance. I mean, in the last week or so, we've saw, two very strong Democrats flip their position, now support openly, the Republican Party nominee.
Yeah.
I've seen
big names too.
Yeah, Tulsi and RFK Jr. By the way, Tulsi, hot or not, X-Wing?
I don't know. Not my speed, I guess, would be perfectly attractive woman. Not my speed. That's what I would say.
You don't think that luscious lock of white hair at the front just like gives you a little bit of a rogue kind of thing?
Rogue, yeah.
It's like, what would Rogue look like if she got older? There you go.
To be perfectly honest, I just hate politicians.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
I just don't like politicians. So, maybe that's it. But it seems like within the last, it almost feels like the last 6 months, there's been this ridiculous shift in the mindset of almost all of America. It was like it happened very quickly. All of a sudden, now people are out talking. Stuff is coming out. People are seeing this stuff, laid bare naked in front of them as to what actually happened. And a lot of us are kind of sitting back like, yeah, duh, we were fucking talking about this the whole time. We've been saying this, you know what I mean? So it's nice to see it kind of out in the open. But I don't know how receptive people are going to be to this stuff. The fact that this was admitted should have no political bearing at all. The fact that it was admitted should make you worried about really the direction that the United States is going in terms of the First Amendment, our free speech. You're allowed to say whatever you want, but whether or not it makes it out onto the airwaves, that's the real conversation. Because if you have large companies that are just saying, yeah, say whatever you want, nobody's going to see it.
Now, the real problem is a company does have the right to censor. Okay, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Facebook
they can
doesn't
do whatever they want.
Yeah, they don't have to uphold the First Amendment. The government upholds the First Amendment. Basically, I can go out into the street and say whatever I want, except with a few exceptions. Like I can't say fire in a full theater and things like that. That will put people in danger. But, they don't have to. I won't get arrested, is what I'm saying. If I walk out into the street and say insult somebody,
it's not the
it is
UK.
what it is. Yeah, it's not the UK exactly. Yeah. But companies don't have to follow that. They are a company. They're not with held to that. The thing that made it so egregious was that the actual government got involved and pressured companies to do their bidding towards a certain political side. So that's where it becomes kind of nefarious and
Is
evil.
there any kind of there's no legal precedent for that though, right?
No,
I mean you can't bring them to court on that technically, right?
I don't think so because Zuck even said it. He said that it was up to them to decide to do it, and he caved. Is this Star Wars? I mean, I did wear my Rebel shirt, sort of, kind of, to
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I got my Ruined by Dave Filoni on, so we're keeping it in the spirit for sure. And we will be talking about Star Wars a little bit later. Obviously, there was the big release of Outlaws. Everybody got their hands on the early release today, and things are not going the way Ubisoft would like them to go, but that's just kind of Ubisoft. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is a serious problem. So anyways, I think this is important, not because it's going to change anything in the immediate future. I don't think this is something that's going to, everybody's going to wake up and all of a sudden and be like, bro, don't trust social media companies. Don't trust mass media. But at least it's a step in the right direction where now it's out in the open that there is a precedent for this kind of stuff. This stuff does happen. There are legal 3-letter agencies that will come in and tell you what you can and can't think. This stuff happens all the time.
And propaganda is real. Government funded propaganda is real. I mean, even I think some political candidates, I'm not gonna say who, but some social media influencers have come forward and said that they attempted to get to pay them to go out and make like reels for them and stuff like that. Oh,
dude, TikTok is insane right now. I think there's a guy named Harry Sisson or something like that on TikTok. Or maybe he's on Twitter. I don't know. But yeah, you can absolutely tell they're operatives. I don't know if people thought that like propaganda just stopped after World War II. But that's a very, very soft way of thinking about the world. They've just gotten really, really clever and really, really good about the ways that they do it. And that's the job of a propagandist, is just make it look like it's not propaganda. It's super easy. Subliminal messaging is the number one, dude. A really good way to think about it is, have you ever thought about a chalupa? If a little tiny chihuahua walks next to you, if you're a 90s kid like me, a little tan chihuahua walks next to you, what do you think about? Think about Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Wait, I never thought about it, but he's not the mascot anymore.
No, hasn't been for like years.
You're right. I think of a little tiny chihuahua when I think
about Taco Bell. Yeah. Yo quiero Taco Bell. I was going through all the old 90s, commercials making the intro for this, which I think you missed.
I watched it. I watched part of it. And that's why I noticed you we have a private chat in StreamYards where you went, what's up? I just saw the 90s what is that, a beer? Was that a beer? The what's up? What's up?
It was Budweiser.
It was Budweiser, where they're all just calling each other and they're
watching the game, having a bud. And then everybody remembers it from Scary Movie. Because the guy who played Scream, what do they call him? Ghostface. And they're like, what's that? That was, people remember what's that? That was everywhere. And then remember, like, Borat came out and everybody was doing the Borat, like, yeah, very nice, for just these absolutely ridiculously annoying quotes that stuck for years on end.
I'm pretty sure Beardo still does Borat.
I do too.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. If you've ever seen this is the fun thing, is now we have like moving memes. There's a scene of Sydney Sweeney crying as she's like brushing her hair in a mirror.
Yeah, that's from what's that show that was really messed up about drugs and sex and teenagers?
Euphoria.
Yes, I saw the first episode.
Yeah, my wife watched it. I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
It's hard to watch.
But there's a meme out now, and it's her crying and like brushing her hair, and every one of them is my wife while I do this in the shower. And so she's sitting there crying, and my favorite one was my wife while I practice my Borat impressions before we go to a party, and she's crying. He's like, very nice. Ooh, very nice in the shower. I laugh because, unfortunately for my wife,
this is a true thing.
Yeah,
this
that's
is a true situation.
100%. All right, let's hit some super chats real quick. War Wizard for $1.99 says, okay, fine, I'm really sorry. Yeah, dude, don't blow it, man. So I thought it was funny that most nerds hadn't seen that movie. Fanboys was like huge. I loved that movie. Piewagon for 2 says, good luck, X-Wing and Joe, with your new show.
Thank you.
What a Palarver. Bev became a member. What's up, What a Palarver? Good to see you. Psychotic Mongoose gifted an X-Wing membership. Good to see you, Psychotic Mongoose. Glad to have you here. Alice Smith became a new member. Glad to have you. And Fear the Beardo for 10 says, Hail Wing Wednesday. Good to see you, brother. My bro science compatriot. Good to have you here, man. I hope to have him on the show. I'd like to be able to do guests. I want to do guests.
Absolutely.
This guy wasn't a member.
Isn't he like one of your closest friends?
I thought we were up until now. I mean, we were talking on the phone last night. He's like, oh, you're one of my best friends. And he just now becomes a member over here. What are we doing? Drunk 3PO, member for 22 months. What's up, Jay? Good to see you, my brother says, here for Star Wars support. We'll be talking about Star Wars for sure. Just give it time. To be perfectly honest with you guys, one of the big reasons that I did Wing Wednesday was to start to move away from Star Wars a little bit. I like to talk about other things. The problem is somebody brings up Star Wars and I'll rant for 6 hours. I can talk about anything under the sun with Star Wars. I have to talk about something else. Let's talk about something else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Are you also a big fan of the extended universe? Like you read the books and all that, or just the films?
Expanded universe.
That's the same thing. Listen, English is my second language. I get away with messing things up. Okay.
I'm just saying. So Spanish first?
Yeah. I'm an ESL kid.
Ah, okay. Yo hablo un poquito español.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. En escuela tengo 3 años en clase de español. Y yo vivo en las montañas de Reno, Nevada, toros mexicanos.
Okay,
Toros.
you only practice that because you live in the mountains of Nevada and you have experience with Mexicans, because no one remembers their 3 years of language from high school or whatever it was. No one.
Well, I came up in the trades as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to remember, actually, believe it or not, the majority of the Spanish that I spoke was working on ranches.
Really? Yeah. Well, that makes sense. You were a cowboy.
Dude, Mexican cowboys are way better than the white guys. The Mexican cowboys are nuts. I love those guys. Vaqueros.
Okay. Are you saying bad as in like good?
Yeah, bad as in good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, those guys were insane. And it's funny, too, because we have 2 different ways of bull riding. So the way we do it, we have a rope. We put it between our legs, rosin up the rope, and then hold on to the bull. They, like, tie their feet underneath the bull. They tie it. And they're like, okay, good luck, amigo. And just, like, open up the door. For me, that's insane.
It's a success or success. Otherwise, you're dead, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And they kind of had that. They brought that same attitude to the ranch, too. I mean, they were just such badasses, dude. So I found myself kind of hanging out with them more than the other guys because I was like, I fucking like your attitude. Like, let's get it done. You know what I mean?
Si se puede, as they like to say.
Yeah, exactly. Órale. Hey, look at this. Amanda, you know what I didn't do? I didn't create a new clip for memberships. I only have old clips. Hold on. What's my old clip? Holy crap, Joe. I have to go through all of my clips on StreamYard and change absolutely everything at this point.
How long has it been since you've gone live on a show?
Well, I do gaming streams all the time, but we haven't done a podcast.
Like
a show. The last one I did was a late night with Rissman, and that was weeks ago. And then before that, I don't know. I haven't made a video on this channel since March.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, hi everyone. Amanda Allen gifted 5 X-Wing memberships. That means it's time to dance. I need something a little shorter.
I mean, that's pretty lit. I was about to start dancing.
Isn't it? They take my stream down every time I play it. They're like, you played Bading again, X-Wing? Seriously?
Is it copyrighted?
100%. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, no. I feel horrible. So our poor boy, Dan Bask, has been trying to get gifted a membership since forever. Because for some reason, he just never wants to buy a membership to a channel. So welcome.
Did he finally buy it?
Yeah, he's a member. He's a member and a wrench now. Welcome, Dan Bask, to the X-Force. Force. I can't do that. That's a Beardo thing. We got to come up with something new. Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg, censorship, absolutely a real thing. I kind of tied that in with, Jay just had his channel taken down.
Yeah, but reinstated. Reinstated last night.
Reinstated quickly.
Late last night at like midnight, I think.
It's because we all made a stink.
Mm-hmm.
We all made a huge stink. So I think they told Jay, it was like, dude, it's going to be 14 days until we get your channel back on. And everybody on Twitter was like, just started screaming at Team YouTube, and they brought it right back up. And I have to wonder, because I'm not all that popular. I use reuse content all the time, and I've never been bothered by YouTube. Do you think, in your personal opinion, that they survey some of these channels on YouTube and will use a BS rule like reused content, which has no definitive line whatsoever, and just take people down because they can?
Well, I think it's actually they have AI bots that run through the content constantly.
Sweepers.
Yes, and they occasionally make mistakes. So I think just because he's got, I mean, I don't know how many hours of content you have, but perhaps, you know, because he's got more views, more subs, more whatever, a bigger spotlight on it, maybe they scrub him a little bit harder. Or it was just randomly selected. $100 super chat, and X-Wing will dab super hot sauce spelled wrong. It's a C. C, kid.
This is Beardo, everyone. Cooper Sauce. I thought he said he was going to super dab hot sauce. I'm like, you telling me I could just sit here and not do anything and I'll make $100? Nice. I'm down with that.
Well, it might be. It might be. Is he going to come on and do some? Do you have some super hot sauce?
Not really. I just went through the last of probably my favorite hot sauce in the world. Unfortunately, it's sold by a really sweet old Caribbean lady in Blue Water Bay on St. Thomas, and that's the only place you can buy it. She doesn't ship it. She doesn't send it anywhere. You can only buy it on that beach. So every time I go down there, because I try to go down there once every 2 years. If I can get down there once a year, I try to get down there. But I haven't been down there for 2 years. So I got rid of the last of my sauce, but it's a garlic Scotch bonnet hot sauce that she makes by herself, totally without like no regulations from the FDA. She puts that crap in a bottle and sticks a label on it, and it is the best hot sauce I've ever had in my life. But I don't have it anymore. So yeah, if somebody wants to super chat $1,200 for me to fly down to St. Thomas and get my hot sauce, you're more than welcome to.
You bring an extra suitcase just to like put it all in. Oh my gosh.
I'll come on the show and do it. Hey, if somebody wants to super chat $100 to watch Fear the Beardo eat hot sauce, you are more than welcome to do that. We will always accept it here over at X-Wing.
And then we'll have to see him go into someone's chat randomly and say that he's on the toilet. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, Drunk 3PO knows this. He was on the toilet apparently, according to the chat last night. I saw that. I was watching. And he wanted to super chat about it. So
he's kind of known for his super hot cacas, so it's actually gonna not benefit Fear the Beardo because he'll be playing monkey game and I'd be like, sorry guys, I gotta be right back. X-Wing, you're in charge. Yeah, that's kind of Beardo's thing. Okay, so moving on to our next subject. This is a little unstructured right now, but we have a lot of things to talk about. There are two things that actually Joe Rosie brought to my attention that I didn't know about that I wanted to talk about today. So where's the other one? You can just pull them up, by the way. If you just want to pull them up.
Are you talking about the tweet?
Yeah.
That I talked about? I put it in the private chat right here. I don't know how to actually present, but I dropped it in the private chat. It's the one that says literally tweet.
Oh, Kainobo?
Yeah, that's it.
Got it right here. All right, chat. I want you guys to let me know. Because this one's, she's an interesting one. I got a real love-hate relationship with this woman.
Really?
Yeah. I think she's gorgeous.
I think she's really good looking. She's got a huge, big, beautiful eyes. She's got a nice smile. Not a bad body. What's not to love? If I was gay, I would like her.
When she talks outside of movies, sometimes. Oh. Yeah. She's a bit of a Mark Hamill for me.
Yeah.
But gorgeous.
Yeah.
But we also know that gorgeous doesn't always mean pretty on the inside.
Yeah, but we're not asking you to marry Anne Hathaway because I feel the same way. I am a personality driven person. Like if I don't like your personality, you become ugly to me even if you are
like super hot, doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So she put out a tweet that says white women become unattractive. Oh wait, no, this wasn't her saying it. This was somebody else.
No. This was someone else. This is just the fact that this got 15 million views. This tweet got
15 million
views with the example of Anne Hathaway and the statement, women fall. What did he say? Women fall off after
white
30.
women become unattractive as F once they hit 30.
Now, Anne is, I don't know how old she is, but she's definitely older than 30.
I don't know. We need that number.
We're going to look
How
it up
old
right
is
now.
Anne Hathaway?
She is
She's got a little nipple
41.
poking out. She's 41?
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty freaking hot for 41.
Thank you. Now, I'm used to hearing, like, okay, I know from Bro Science, you guys all have an infatuation with Sofia Vergara, and she's in her 50s. I think she's 52. Who's the other one that's freakishly young looking? I personally don't think J-Lo looks good because I just have a thing. I don't like J-Lo. It's not my type. She's just not my type.
Is it like an internal Latina competition? You just don't like her because she's J-Lo?
I mean, no, because I like
Sophia?
Sophia, and I like oh my god, Mexican girl, really big jugs. What's her name?
Mexican girl, really big jugs. Chat?
Also in her 50s, dark hair. She's got a very heavy Mexican accent. She's in with
oh, she played Frida Kahlo?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, what is her freaking name?
She was also in with Antonio Banderas. Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Got it.
But yeah, that's how I describe Salma Hayek. Hispanic girl, really big jugs, in her 50s. There you go. Salma Hayek. Boom.
Oh,
So,
here's one. Haley Atwell. Do you know her?
Yeah, I do know Haley Atwell. Yeah.
She was the one in not No Country for Old Men. It was the remake of the oh god, it had the Big Lebowski in it.
Are you sure that was her?
I'm nearly positive. What is the name of that frickin' movie? It's the Western. Oh, this is gonna kill me.
I'm looking at her stuff. I don't see what you're talking about. Obviously, we all know.
Yeah, well, Western. What? It was a remake. Western.
I think
movie.
you might be wrong about this.
Oh,
See,
wait a minute. Haley Atwell. Oh, that's totally not who I think it is.
Not at all.
No. Not who I'm thinking. She's all right. I don't know. She's a little boxy.
You look at her all the time. That's one of the people that
she's the super pale one with the big old juggies and the red dress. That's Haley Atwell.
Yeah. She's best known for Peggy as playing Peggy in Marvel.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. True Grit. Holy crap and moly. Thank you. That's not Haley Atwell. What is her name? The chick from True Grit. I thought that was a Haley.
That is a Haley. That's Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. Okay. She kind of looks like she could be Latina, maybe? No?
Haley Steinfeld or Haley Atwell?
Haley Steinfeld, not Atwell.
Only because, yeah, she does kind of. She's got dark hair, dark eyes. She's cute.
Yeah.
But she's only 27, by the way.
I am reading the chat. Sorry, we're doing a bunch of research right now. Hail to Orange Agonton. Good to see you here. What's going on? Mission Impossible and Captain America. Yeah, that's Peggy. That's Roger's girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Salma Hayek is definitely not Indian, Crimson. She is Mexican.
I thought she was Spanish.
No, for sure. No, she's from Mexico.
Oh, she's hardcore Mexican? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that. Good.
I grew up watching her. Yeah, she's Mexican American. Yeah, for sure.
I think what I remember her from most, and I could be completely mistaken, but what I feel like I remember her from was Zorro. Was she Zorro's girlfriend in a Zorro movie?
Absolutely not. You're thinking, okay, I got your train of thought here.
All right,
so Antonio Banderas is Zorro, right? Yeah. In your mind. But he was also, one of his first roles was actually in the movie The Mexican, which later on spawned, actually I don't think he was in the original The Mexican, but he was in that whole series of oh my gosh, Bandito or Antonio Banderas, but he was in a role with he had the guitar gun and all that. That was one of his most famous original Desperado. Okay, so he was in Desperado.
Was she was she like a pole dancer kind of chick in that movie?
Not at all. That was a Western kind of thing. So
okay.
She was his female counterpart. Now, the reason why you're all confused about Zorro is because Antonio Banderas is Zorro, and that's Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's what it was. Okay.
Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but she fell off. She used to be hot.
Really?
Yeah.
She fell off? Oh my god, give me a... You don't know how to present on StreamYard?
I don't. Oh, actually, there's a little button that says present. Is that it?
That's usually the one I use, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like she used to be incredibly good looking, and then she got married to Michael Douglas, and then all of a sudden she just
interesting.
aged significantly.
Was Michael Douglas doing a bunch of coke and she got involved in that, or what?
I just think that she's, it's one of those things. If you are what you feel, and if you are with a really old person, maybe
You start to feel old.
or maybe he was sucking away her youth. I don't know.
She was probably sucking some. All right, Darth Razor for 77745 says, X-Wing, my fellow astronaut, I like your new show. I appreciate you and Jay. You guys have more class than others who shall remain nameless. I don't live in nearly even the same spectrum that Jay lives in terms of class. He's a far classier broad than I will ever be. But I appreciate the sentiment a lot. Vicky Zver became a YouTube member. Hello, welcome to the X-Force. What a palaver for 5, says Dan Bask. You worry me sometimes, Dan. You have weird toilet habits. He's got weird feet habits, too. Turd Ferguson says X-Wing is thinking of like 50 different movies at once. That was the problem, I feel like. In the late 90s, early 2000s, there were so many good movies that came out with so many actors that they just kind of had like a stable of dudes and chicks that they rotated that were in 1,000 different movies that sometimes it becomes hard to like remember which was which. You know what I mean? Ho!
Yeah. Yeah.
Arnar.
So I just feel like, I mean, this might be awful of me to say this, but I just feel like she just went from looking smoke show to looking grandma.
All right, so I'm not gay and I don't know how to do my makeup, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't know if purple was like a good choice there.
I don't think that's the
Purple
issue.
around the eyes was like, it makes her look a little like, holy fuck, she's dead. And that, I don't know.
Now, this is going to... Yeah, she is Morticia Addams in Wednesday, by the way. She just has
Right.
black hair when she does this.
Right.
I want you, without looking it up, age her based off the fact that we were just showing... Who did we saw? We saw Anne Hathaway's 41.
Yeah,
we know that Selma and J-Lo and all these girls are in their 50s. How old do you think Catherine Zeta-Jones is?
So if I'm actually gonna remove all that and just give like my fair estimate on where I think she would be according to like Hollywood. I would say like 64, probably somewhere in there.
Yeah, no, you're off by 10 years.
Oh, you poor girl, you. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
That's a 54-year-old woman, which by Hollywood standards, like that might be a 54-year-old mom that I see in the grocery store and I would have nothing to say about it, but your job is movie star and all of your other colleagues look like they're sucking the life out of babies. So what is going on?
Okay, so here's my question though. Is she better than all of them because she refuses to lift and tuck and inject and do all those things, and that is just naturally Catherine Zeta-Jones?
I actually think she is lifting and tucking. It's just not, it's not working for her.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I like the first one. I think I'd like to continue thinking that maybe she's just like, nah, I'm going to stay natural. I'm a beautiful woman and I'm going to stay
And
natural.
there's nothing wrong with that. I totally believe that's totally fine.
She doesn't look bad. She doesn't look great in that picture. I think it's just an unflattering picture. You know what I mean?
No,
It's not flattering.
That's what she looks like.
Ow. Damn it.
Yeah. And let me see if I can bring this one up. I mean, I just think that her skin texture, I cannot bring this one up, just looks like she's doing stuff to herself too. So I just don't think it's, can you see that one? I don't think.
Oh, that looks like plastic surgery.
That's what I'm saying. I think she is getting stuff done and it's messing her up even more.
Well, I just hope she's happy. I don't know. She brought us a lot of entertainment over the years. I hope she's doing well. I've never understood the idea of like injecting crap into your face. That's something we talk about on Bro Science all the time. You get the guys who like inject medical cement into their body to try to look buffer, and it's like, that's a really bad idea. These people have no concept of the future.
Yeah, I had a patient who, in my previous life, many years ago, I was in the medical field, and I had a patient who did calf implants, but I was just like, dude, just do legs.
Was it Beardo?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
My choice!
He's gonna get so mad at you.
I love you, Beardo. I love you. Sorry. Okay, moving on.
So, do you want to talk about Star Wars at this point?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at me, okay? I love
Not
you,
mad.
man. Yeah.
So, I think the big story right now, because I feel like we've been talking about Star Wars Outlaws for so long, but the thing that seems pretty egregious is the fact that a lot of people have been getting the game ahead of time. I know a lot of influencers or game reviewers have gotten it ahead of time. People could pay for it, by the way, ahead of time. So if you go to Ubisoft's website, or Ubisoft, I apparently pronounced it wrong. But again, anytime I pronounce something wrong, remember, English is not my language. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. So if you go to their website, it actually...
I don't feel like that's new, though. I mean, people have been pre-buying, like the hyper edition, the gold access or whatever for early access forever.
Look at how much this costs. $110, $17.99 for a month. And to show you what that is, this is the early access, right? You can actually get $130 for the ultimate early access. So people paid this. And then the standard edition is $70. So there's people out there who literally paid the difference between $70 and $130 just to get it a few days early and play it. Now that becomes an issue when you then have this happening. So let's say you spent however many days it was, getting your character leveled up, doing what you're doing.
Oh no.
And then day of release, sorry, folks, you need to start over.
They slate you after the standard release?
Yup.
Wow.
Yep. They need to restart, and there's nothing they can do about it. So apparently this happened, I think yesterday, the day before, I think it was yesterday. Ubisoft sent an email asking players to update to the latest version, and this restarts their saves because they would inevitably run into progression blockers on their old saves. Yeah, so apparently this is a huge problem, and people are flipping out online.
So what's really funny? There's two of the things. This is actually happening with two of their major games at the same time. So for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, what's going on is everybody who was on any kind of console platform, it might have only been Xbox, I'm not sure, but it actually happened to me on the PC too. We waited 8 months for the DLC to come out. It's like, oh, Skybreaker finally came out. Let's go play it. And you load up and you go to the person who gives you the quest to go to your different area. And it says, the person you're playing co-op with hasn't finished the main mission yet. I'm not playing co-op. I'm in single player. And so you leave and then you come back and you reload it. And it says the person you're playing co-op with hasn't finished the main mission set yet. You're like, dude, I've been waiting 8 months. I paid for the $120 crazy edition of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Your shit drops and now I can't even access it. So I went online and started doing research as to what the hell was going on. Ubisoft has said almost nothing. There was one small post that says, how do you access it? Oh, well, you have to download it separately in the Microsoft store and then it'll work. So went, deleted it, re-downloaded the DLC, went back in, same freaking problem. And there has been no other word from Ubisoft since. It's been 4 weeks.
That
4
sucks.
weeks. And then at the same time, they're dropping another game without having fixed their first major IP game. And all these people are like, you're telling me I paid $120 for the super ultimate edition, gamed like crazy for 3 days, and now I have to start over if I want to play the game?
Mm-hmm. Now, this actually hasn't even released, right? It releases on August 30th. When you're seeing on major news cycles this crap, where people are already complaining about the game being so messed up that the patch is making you delete all of your progress, what kind of person are you that you're going to be like, let me go ahead and still go get this game when it releases on August 30th?
So I promised myself, I was like, dude, this will be the first Star Wars game I haven't purchased in my life. Since I started gaming, this will be the first Star Wars game I will not purchase. Luckily enough, I think it was WDW Pro or something put out a tweet last night and was like, hey, if you have Ubisoft Plus already, it's free. Which I should probably cancel too, because I'm as pissed at Ubisoft as I am at Disney. But since I'm already paying for it, I'm like, screw it, I'll download it. I'm going to play it this week until my membership runs up. I think on the 9th next month, I'll play it. I just don't understand how these developers keep getting away with it.
Well,
you're charging twice the amount of what a game should cost, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. I personally am of the mind I no longer pre-order games. There could be a franchise that I absolutely adore. Maybe this is just, I don't know. I've gotten burned too many times. I'm just going to not be the person who pre-orders it. Granted, for someone who's like in the chat right now, they're talking about Star Wars Theory doing that. That's his thing, right? He does Star Wars all day, every day. So he has to play it. But if I'm just the average Joe playing a game, I'm not going to pre-order crap. I mean, how many games? Like, I remember when Cyberpunk came out, or was being hailed as going to be the next coming of.
That was a big debacle with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I bought it. I pre-ordered it, and guess what? That game was broken to hell and back. So
yeah,
it's great now. They patched it now, but I am never again waiting, putting in that pre-order, getting that first before everybody else. No, I want to see it, see the reviews. Buy physical media, says David Gare there. Fantastic idea. But even then, they're putting some of this stuff out that's broken as physical media. Yes.
And so you buy that and you're like, no, I refuse to subscribe to whatever, I mean, the days of plugging a game into a console without the internet are gone.
Absolutely.
A lot of these games you can't play without an internet connection. You'll buy a physical media copy and then you boot up your Xbox and you try to play it. And it says you have to have an internet connection to play this game, when it's not an online game.
Yep.
Like,
100%.
What?
Well, I really think this comes down to the developers, or whoever, holds the purses on these developers, having, these game software engineers or whoever they are being told this is the deadline, and they don't care if it's not ready. It's the deadline. Put it out. And if it's broken, so what? We'll still sell it. And that's just, to me, it's like we no longer care about the quality of a product because people are still going to buy the crap.
There was a South Park episode on that. I think it was my favorite thing in the world. It was about the boys growing up and they don't like the things they like anymore. And there was a movie trailer, and I think they had Rob Schneider as a stapler. And they're like, this summer, Rob Schneider is a stapler, blah, 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 whatever. Fuck you, you'll watch it. And it was a parody at the time, but it kind of feels like we're there. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? Whatever. Fuck it. You'll watch it.
Yeah, and it's true. Some things like, well, yes and no. People, as we found out from the Acolytes cancellations, people will still support crap, hot caca, on a paper plate, and just because that's what they support. But I think we're also seeing the tides turn when you see, like, Marvel expected the next coming of their next generation of Moody's to be just as successful. No one watched the Celestials, okay? But if you watch the press and all that and how they acted about the Celestials, they were fully expecting it to be making hundreds of millions of dollars, and it didn't. So you are now getting people who are getting burnt out, and they want to actually see quality without spending money. We're not going to spend money on crap. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I think the big shift, what really happened was these people had a license to print money when they took these IPs. Star Wars, Marvel, I think was kind of ahead of the curve in a lot of aspects in which they bought Marvel early on. Phase 4 was their big mistake. Phase 4 was when they were like, oh, we fucked up because they were making a buttload of money and then it all stopped. The cash loads of train cars stopped flowing in. But I think that the time is now kind of showing up where these major companies are buying IPs and saying, we have a license to print money, slap a name on it, and it'll make however much you want. And everybody's kind of wising up at this point. They're like, hey, yeah, I don't care if you put the Marvel name. I'm not playing that shit. There were a couple superhero games that came out. And I mean, superhero games are either incredible or they're fucking horrible. There's nothing in between. And I think, what was the one I saw recently? It was the Justice League Kill Batman. Everybody completely rejected that game. They're like,
the Suicide Squad game?
Yeah, it was Suicide Squad. Kill Superman, I think it was. And everybody absolutely rejected it. We saw it with, with the sequel trilogy when it came to, our original heroes in Star Wars. We're seeing it obviously continuing with Star Wars now with the prequel characters. We're seeing it everywhere. Lord of the Rings, which we're going to talk about here in a minute as well. Everywhere you have these people who bought these money printing franchises and just said, we can do whatever the hell we want, put the name on it, and people are going to buy it. And now they're saying, shit, people aren't buying it. What's going on?
Yep, and it'll continue to happen. I think that things are on a longer trajectory for development when you have games and movies, so it's not like it's going to be a quick turnaround. Things are always 5 or 6 years in development when it comes to ideas being pitched to studios, money going into it, writing the script, all that jazz. So what's happening now, downstream from here, give it 5-6 years from now, we'll start seeing the repercussions of these movie studios losing money hand over fist. So don't despair out there. Keep doing what we're doing. I think eventually we will see the tide turn in the favor of better writing, actually holding and keeping true to IPs that we grew up and love. And I think that's basically
appreciating lore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. 100%. I was listening to Frank, almost called him Frank Gore, Chris Gore from Film Threat saying, over at Marvel, they've basically done a clean out of all of what you would consider an employee activist, in the studio, which is lovely to hear. And I got really excited because he said, and at Lucasfilm, I'm like, yeah, let me hear it. And he goes, it's overrun. It's not going to change. And I'm like, fuck, come on. Like, can't we do that too over at Lucasfilm? But the bottom line is, as much as people want to adopt these film studios as a chariot to ride their message into the sunset with, the bottom line is they have to answer to investors. That's the bottom line. And so when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, in a 10-year span, when they find out that these, activist games, activist movies, furthering the message aren't making money, Disney's not going to be about morals if their stock price drops. They're not going to be. And I know it has dropped and everybody's like, well, don't they see that the ship is sinking? 100% they see it. But like Joe was saying, this stuff takes a lot of time to get into progress, to get approved, to make it onto screen. And then beyond that, they're not going to learn their lesson from that movie until 2 years after, when all this, this stuff takes a really long time. So do I think there's a turnaround for Lucasfilm? 100%. Do I think Marvel has a turnaround? Like I said earlier, they were kind of the early ones who bought the IP and made their mistakes. I think they will make a turnaround before Lucasfilm does, but there's a part of me that hopes, that prays, maybe Lucasfilm will take a turn at some point. But right now, we're still we're in the boat and it's sinking.
Well, I mean, it's probably Kathleen's not going anywhere right now, as we found out. So
she wants to go out on a win.
She's gonna have to do something different then.
Yeah. Honestly, if I'd have known that Kathleen felt that way, that she wanted to go out on a win, I probably would have been making Acolyte videos like, this is the best Star Wars I've ever seen in my life. We love you, Kathleen. This is a triumph. But I didn't. So what are you going to do? War Wizard for $1.99 says, you think that sucks? I pre-ordered Anthem. Did you play that game?
I did not.
I didn't either. It's for free right now on Xbox Game Pass, and I actually downloaded it. I played 5 seconds of it, and then I stopped playing it because I was going to do something else, and then eventually it got deleted. So I don't know what the big problem with that game was, but if you want to tell me, please let me know in the chat, because I heard a lot about. Was that a Ubisoft too? I think it might have been. Real Life Fake Wizard for $4.99. Thank you, brother. Says Rob Schneiderreiter is a derp.
By the way, that is not Ubisoft. That is BioWare.
I was BioWare. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Good to know. Dude, everybody is against the pre-order. I was a huge fan of the idea of it bricked consoles. Seriously?
Wow.
Legit would break PS4s. Ooh, that's not good.
That's terrifying.
So what was the problem? Chat, let me know. Was it just that it was too graphically intensive, or I mean, they put too many assets in and the software couldn't handle it? I don't know. I'm going to pull a Beardo really quick. You're in charge. I'll be right back.
All right, let's go to the chat for a second. War Wizard says, it was hot garbage and they stopped supporting it after a few months. I feel like that's even worse. If you have a product that is subpar, the last thing that you need to do is pull the support and just completely destroy the reputation and credibility of your company. Aaron Fever in the chat. What's up, Aaron Fever? How's the inaugural stream? I think it's going great. But that's just me. Turd Ferguson says, Joe Rosie says, let's keep it moving. Absolutely. So yeah, I actually feel that actually Anthem also killed Xboxes too. So moral of the story, definitely wait to see what people say about a game, because as we saw from this Anthem game, it can even destroy your console. And while X-Wing is taking a hot caca, let's go ahead and give a commercial break for yours truly, Joe Rosie. So if you haven't already followed my channel, go ahead and follow my channel, Real Joe Rosie, on YouTube, and help me hit that 500 subscriber mark, as I'm closing in on that on my brand new channel. This next Dragon Age game is going to be a flop, says Gohan Creates. That just feels like everything is there any actual games that we're excited for, that we are, you know, going in with some optimism, or am I just at the point where I no longer have any optimism towards any games or studios? And again, I'm the kind of person that needs to see it to believe it and buy it, putting that cash forward. You didn't miss much, X-Wing.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was being sorry, Mary. What did we leave off on there? Anthem?
We were leaving off on Anthem. Apparently, it also bricked Xboxes. So, moral of the story is, don't pre-order that game that you're thinking of pre-ordering. It's safer to just play it safe and wait for the reviews and let other people get their consoles destroyed.
Wait, so bricked meaning legitimately like it effed the console up completely?
That is the definition of bricking a
Turn it
console.
into a brick. Yeah.
Oh, point of no return.
Dude. And there's obviously dealing with Microsoft or Sony or anything. You can't call them and be like, hey, this gaming company put something out that destroyed my console. They're like, I don't care. Contact the distributor.
I'm pretty sure they're not held liable for that, potentially. I don't think anyone's getting any checks in the mail for their PS4s getting destroyed.
I think I would like legitimately book a flight to their headquarters and like throw a couple Molotov cocktails through the windows. That's ridiculous.
But going back to Outlaws, on top of the fact that they've had this patch that already destroyed early access, the overall reviews are not going that great. 3.5, so just the gamer alone, that one site I was looking at, reviews are 3.5 out of 5, and it's not good. And from what I'm seeing, the Star Wars series also not having that good of a time. And, you know, we saw the characters beautiful actress just turned ugly. The mechanics are not good for combat and all that. So overall, just seems like it's a very mid game, especially at that price point.
I think it was a really odd creative choice for them to Star Wars has always been about, kind of escaping, making your own way in a universe. That's at least the sentiment that you get, is that there's a wide, with Star Wars games, there's a wide expansive universe. You can do whatever you want to do. This is a different place. It's escapism. And we've been clamoring for so long, since I think the last really big, like, open world one we had was Galaxy. We have the MMORPG that's kind of like what do you call it? It's like World of Warcraft, Star Wars: The Old Republic.
I actually like that one.
Yeah, it's like World of Warcraft. It's an MMORPG, which is fine. It's not Knights of the Old Republic. People get that mixed up a lot. Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars: The Old Republic. All of your favorite cinematics that you've seen, the crazy awesome cinematics, those all come from Star Wars: The Old Republic.
I think that's the one I like. Yeah. But
we've been dying for this big open world game where we see fleshed out, gorgeous things in the these expansive universes. And Jedi Survivor. I mean, Beardo brings it up right here. Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order. That was close because we had these big fleshed out Star Wars worlds, but everything was pretty much on rails for the most part.
Was Jedi Survivor the one with Cal, the redhead?
Yeah, that was Fallen Order and Survivor. So
Yeah,
Fallen Order was super cool because we got to go through, Order 66. We get this guy who was a Jedi who suppresses everything. And then, the Empire comes about. We get to see all of that happen. He's salvaging wrecks, from Venator class ships and Jedi starfighters and stuff like that. And then we get to see the Inquisitors, and we see an awesome Inquisitor in that, who's a diverse casting that worked perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And what's really funny is they actually stole stuff from Jedi Fallen Order and used it in Kenobi, and they fucked it up in Kenobi, which is wild. The sister who was in Jedi Fallen Order should have been who we saw in Kenobi. It was Trilla. It was still a diverse casting. It would have been awesome. She was absolutely incredible, but we got fucking Reva instead, who was horrible character. Anyways, moving on.
You only feel that way because you're a white male, okay?
Right, of course. I don't have enough melanin to understand the complexities of the character. I wish I could have fixed that somehow, some way. I should have tanned more. Anyways, so we've been dying for this big open world adventure where we could do anything. And they set this game in the War of the Bounty Hunters, which is something people have been just crying for and forever, which is where you have Han Solo and Carbonite and a shitload of bounty hunters want to go find this guy. They want Han Solo and Carbonite, right? And so you could have done a multitude of different things where you create your own bounty hunter to go try and get Han Solo and Carbonite, but you're fighting fucking IG-88, you're fighting Boba Fett, you're fighting Dengar, you're fighting all of these classic, incredible, awesome characters, and you can be whatever you want. Do you want to be a chick? Do you want to be a dude? Do you want to be a Mandalorian? Do you want to be something else? Like, whatever you want to do. They had this big open world where they could have created a sandbox, and they're like, nah, you're going to play a Daiki Han Solo. And don't pretend that that's not what it is, because they literally give you Han Solo's outfit as a fucking, like, a DLC. They're like, come on, dude, seriously? And then the best they could do to come up with your side character during this adventure is a fucking axolotl.
Listen, axolotls are very popular right now.
They are popular. I don't care. That doesn't mean it has to be fucking part of Star Wars. That's something else I've noticed, is that they can't make original characters anymore, or original aliens. They just use stuff from Earth and they make it bigger. Mm-hmm. We saw it in Obi-Wan Kenobi. They just used a giant naked mole rat, and they're like, that's an alien. Like, the fuck it is. That's a mole rat that talks.
So do you think that this uglification of women is appealing to anyone? Is it like a hope that they have, where if we make games less bro, no pretty girls with big jugs, we tomboy the girl, that it will encourage women to play? Is that what the psychology is there behind? Let's take something that should be attractive and make it ugly with hopes of something positive happening.
My question would be, in other Star Wars games, like The Force Unleashed, Jedi Survivor, why do they model the male character perfectly after what the guy looks like? Sam Witwer, the guy who plays...
I'm a big fan of Sam Witwer.
Yeah, Sam Witwer's fucking
Darth
gorgeous.
Maul.
Great guy.
Yeah.
But the other guy, why do I think his name's like Carl Mahone or something? Cal's name. I can't remember his name right now. But actor, character,
perfect.
Exactly
rendition.
the same.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same. Why are we making chicks look different and uglier? What's the point? And so if it is to make more girls play the game, you're projecting the fuck out of your insecurities. If you're really that scared to play a video game where the main character is better looking than you, why?
So here's my 2 cents on it. So we have this entire
Monahan.
What's it called? Movement of women saying that games are toxic, they're, meant for men, that these female characters are, giving women some kind of impossible standard. So all this negativity towards the current standard of both anime and, like animated characters and mostly video games. So women have a lot to say I feel like this has been going on for years. I've been hearing this for years, this negativity towards video game culture. It's not that women should even care, because didn't we recently just see that women thought that playing video games was one of like the top most like toxic hobbies that men can play?
That was one chick that said that. Yeah it's the ick. That's the big thing right now, the ick.
It's like, if as a woman things are hard enough as it is to find a significant other that like hits all the things that you need. If you have I'm going to disqualify a man if he plays video games as your number one ick. I'd hate to break it to them. They're going to be lonely for a really long time, because I've yet to meet, like, it's not just standard, like, bro culture. The average man plays some form of video games, whether you prefer Madden or if you prefer, Fortnite and Helldivers, whatever. I mean, that's just a typical hobby for men. So.
And it's crazy to me that, like, it's like, make up your mind on what you want your message to be. So you're saying that it's the biggest ick in the world for guys to play video games, but at the same time, the big push right now is like, let's get girls into games. Let's get girls playing video games. But it's your biggest ick.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So we're all confused. We don't know what we want. We're saying, I want video games to not be scary and have, beautiful women, which is weird. Because again, that shows insecurity. And 2, but just kidding, video games are ick-inducing. So which is it? Do we want to be included because we want to be part of it, therefore, or are we just saying we don't want video games? So it's like, women, as usual, no offense, I'm not misogynistic, I'm just saying, women don't know what they want. Let's just be realistic.
Women are the biggest misogynists in the fucking world.
Right?
Nobody hates women more than women. I can promise you that. For sure. Ask
a woman what she wants for dinner. She will not be able to tell you. So
I always try to like play devil's advocate, like flip the script. What if I was watching like a Marvel movie and I'm like, Thor is way too jacked. I don't like that. That's an impossible standard for a man. Like, we should turn Thor into a fucking nerdy geek little shit with like pimples on his back that weighs about 140 pounds. That's what they're trying to do. And it's like, stop. Just stop. I don't want to see a 140 pound, 5'2" Thor. That dude should be 6'5" and jacked out of his fucking mind. So when I play it, I'm like, fuck, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like playing as that person because I'm not going to be 6'4" and 280 pounds of pure fucking muscle ever. But man, is it nice to exert that power. So I have to wonder, because guys like doing that. They like, playing as Superman. They like playing as Thor. They like playing as God of War. They want to live those awesome experiences. What is it that a female wants from a game? What experience do they want from a game? I wonder if like why Sims was so massively popular with women. It was because it was like, I get to control absolutely everything that happens in this world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's, again, not stereotyping women, but let's look at like some of the people that are like in our community and our favorite games. Even myself, like I actually have an expansive amount of different genres of gaming, you know, JRPGs, whatever it may be, shooter, first person shooters, or, you know, whatever. I go all over the place. But the games that I have the most hours in tend to be open world games where I can loot and do things or build farms. Like I love
Same for me, dude.
Fallout series. I want to build a bunch of settlements.
Skyrim, shit like that.
Skyrim. I have like 700, 800 hours in that.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what maybe appeals to women. But that's just what I see in other women and myself as our favorites. But
well, though, I mean, that applies to dudes too, though. You know, the freedom to do whatever you want. I feel like that's disconnected from the control aspect of what I'm thinking of when it comes to like Sims. You know, personally, my wife does not play video games. Can't do it. I handed her a controller once. Actually, she made me really proud once. I gave her a controller when I was playing Battlefield 5, and she took an MG42 and mowed 5 guys down in about 30 seconds and then died. She never picked up another first-person shooter again. Because I was like, damn, was that beginner's luck, or are you really good at this? And then I handed her a controller, and she's running around the map like this. She's fucking shooting at the sky.
Well,
but
I would say that was the first time I had a weird gap in video gaming. Like, I went from being a huge gamer with the Nintendo and just having one stick and the Super Nintendo, and then a big gap because my parents didn't believe in video gaming, and then I would game at other people's houses. So I remember there was a large gap of time, and then all of a sudden controllers had 2 joysticks, and I'm like, what is this crap? So I was doing the playing Halo, staring at, you know, my Master Chief was looking at the sky.
Yep.
You gotta definitely keep at it with that, especially if anyone's out there, how do I get my girlfriend into gaming, and they run into that. Just keep at it with that. Go to a simpler game that doesn't have those kind of you know, controls.
Go to the original Doom.
Yeah, exactly. And then once you feel comfortable with the concepts, then you can slowly, you know, move towards something like having the ability to look up and walk at the same time.
Yeah, it's so weird. Speaking of, like, most guys play video games, for most dudes, if you hand them a controller, it's natural, because we've been doing that shit since we were 6-7 years old. We know exactly that hand-eye coordination is just like so natural for us to know this is move, this is look. We immediately know how to do it. And then you hand it to somebody who hasn't played video games. Usually it's going to be a woman, and they have no idea what to do. They're running but staring at the sky and blah blah blah. Anyways,
yeah, it's not natural.
So I love the idea of bringing girls into video games. Obviously, you know, like I said, I think it's a generational thing at this point. There just weren't enough young girls who played video games, you know, at the time that we did. You know, it was a whole new thing when we got to, like you said, two joysticks to play the game with. I mean, that was, I think, moving from N64, it was basically PS1 and did Sega have 2? I think it had a D-pad and no, that didn't have 2. Anyways, so it just wasn't natural. And so, you know, guys have grown up in this environment. The games were made for them because we were the ones that played it. We played it with our boys. There was never a time in 6th, 7th, 8th grade where you heard that the girls were getting together to play Smash Bros. In 7th grade. It was just always a dude thing. And so I think there's a little bit of a transition that has to happen. But girls, in my opinion, really need to find their way in the gaming space. What kind of experiences do you want to have in a gaming space? So instead of, you know, like Sweet Baby Inc. and all these different people coming in and trying to feminize male games or feminize generally male-dominated experiences, take the time and make some games that are for chicks.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is what I want from an experience. And then build that shit. Like, build your own shit. And we will 100% support that. And I can guarantee you at some point there will be dudes who are like, I'm going to go try, you know, whatever it is they want to do. And then you can make fun of us. And you're like, you fucking suck at that game. And we'll be like, yeah, well, I mean, there's 3 joysticks. We've never played with 3 joysticks. I don't know how to do that.
Beardo had a good one. He said start out girls on Pokemon. I think Pokemon's also a game that is very safe to start out a girl with on a gaming. It tends to be also very girl friendly and towards, I guess, what we like. Stardew Valley is another one that's really popular with the girls. So farming simulators, The Sims,
Yeah. Believe it or not, I got heavy into farming simulator once.
Really?
I had a 6-month stretch where I was like into farming simulator. Yeah.
For me,
but I
just,
smoked pot then.
I was gonna say it's like a tranquil kind of thing. It's like a wind down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wind down.
My wife used to smoke pot, and she gave me it was a gummy with like sugar all over it, and she's like, "This is gonna be great for you. You're gonna love it." And I'm like, "Whoa, what's in it?" And she's like, "Don't worry about it." So
4 hours later, you're like,
yeah, exactly. I have like 78 acres of corn growing perfectly, and I wake up and I'm like, "What did I do yesterday?" Yeah.
Going back to the uglification of women, though, this is my issue too with it. Women, I feel like women, no matter what your sexuality is, like pretty women. Right?
I can't disagree, dude. Everyone loves a hot chick.
Yeah, I'm super straight.
Except for one particular sect of women.
You mean
and it's the very insecure and ugly woman.
I was going to say the ugly ones.
That hate attractive women.
That's wild.
But there are loads of women who would not be considered like conventionally attractive that still find them hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's only the insecure ones.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this might also, some women might disagree with me, but my social observations of women, they're, men, you guys are super straight. You're just straight. That's it. Unless you're gay, you're straight. Women, it's more like a spectrum, okay? We all can, if we're being honest with each other, we all look at other women and go, that girl's hot. And there's nothing gay about it. And then to all the way through, you could be gay. Like, you have some level of at least admitting to yourself that someone's beautiful, or you can find them like, I can see what's sexually appealing about this woman. So women were built that way. We're not, it's just the way we're a little bit more, to use modern day language, a little bit more fluid when it comes to that admittance of, when we find attractive. So to me, makes zero sense that if we're trying to appeal to women, ugly women is not the answer. Ugly women is not the answer.
It's not. And to your point, they're still not going to be happy. It doesn't, like, you uglify the game as much as you want, make it, bring it down to your standards, which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring it down to whatever their standards are. They're still not going to be happy. And the reason why is because they're miserable people. It has nothing to do with how attractive your protagonist is. It has nothing to do with any of that. They're just miserable. And so they want the world to be miserable. And those of us who aren't miserable push back against it vehemently. And the only answer they have for that is, you're a misogynist. Mm-hmm. You're a terrible person. You're a race traitor. You're whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's the only thing they can do is insult other people because we're not exactly like them. And that is a pathetic existence for someone to live.
100%. Hot chicks rule.
Nerd gaming. What's up, salty nerd? I've been over there a couple times. Who is that? Is that Matt? Good to see you, bro.
You got to say it in the right way.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
You eat the poo-poo.
You are eating the poo-poo.
Is that the same guy? I feel like it's a different guy, right? It's two different guys, but the same country.
There were so many awesome Ugandan things that happened in like 2022.
But it was the same. No. It was the same country, right? That was Uganda.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Yeah, there was Ugandan Knuckles. Why are you gay? Why are you running? You remember that one?
Yeah.
So many good ones, man. Oh, did we get through everything already?
No, we still have Lord of the Rings stuff.
Oh my God, we have so much to do. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So anybody in the chat, go ahead and let me know. Are you a Lord of the Rings fan? Throw me a 1 for yes or a 0 for no. And it doesn't matter because we're gonna talk about it anyways. Hold on one second. I have to look at something.
See, Tori in the chat agrees. I'm assuming she's a woman. I can see a pretty woman, admire her, and I'm not gay. Bunch of ones. 1-0. Crimson doesn't like it. What's up, Spirian? I am Sylar, who says I'm a feminist. Also says 0.
All right, so we got some Lord of the Rings fans in here.
Yeah.
Tolkien fans. I should have said Tolkien fans. Tolkien fans. Okay, so I mean, plenty of people here clearly love Lord of the Rings. We got Rings of Power season 1. Do we want to talk about season 1 a little bit?
I mean, did people watch it?
Yes, people did watch it.
Like hate watching, or they're just like hoping it's gonna get better?
You know, I think it was. There was. You know, it's so funny when we talk about these IPs. I don't even like saying, you know, anything with Tolkien is an IP, because it's not an IP. It's just Tolkien. It's tough. It's tough to distill. How do you distill the entirety of Tolkien's universe and then talk about it in 4 to 5 seconds? You know, a couple sentences, and describe exactly what's going on with Amazon and yada yada yada. It's really hard. My brother is a diehard Tolkien fan. I mean, he's a historian for Tolkien. He's been through the Silmarillion and everything. I mean, this dude lives in that universe. He actually, hold on, I want to show you something he gave me for my birthday. You're gonna be jealous. This is really cool.
I wonder if I'm actually going to be jealous. Rings of Woke is not Tolkien. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So he's a huge Tolkien nerd. And I'm a metal worker with a hammer. He's an incredible caster. So he casts things. But he's also a brilliant leather worker and a great woodworker at the same time. So he made this awesome stand, pulled from maps, and used a little Dremel to create a map that this thing sits on. This is Mordor.
That is really cool.
This is Mordor. Really cool. And then cast Sauron's cuirass.
Wow.
Out of pewter, and then hand aged it. So that sits on the first one. This is ridiculously gorgeous. And then...
Does he have an Etsy store?
He does, which I will share.
Yes.
And then turned around and cast...
Oh, wow.
His helm, and created an extra nether base for it right here. This is the Black Gate. For this to sit on. And then because he knows I do work with like LEDs and dioramas and stuff like that, he put a clear red resin in here so that you could take the one ring and place it here, and then put an LED underneath it so it would light the one ring. So
which family member did this?
This is my brother.
That's your brother? That is some talent.
Yeah. I'm the blacksmith. He's the caster and the leather worker. He's an incredible leather worker. I'll get his store up. He does all kinds of cool backpacks where he hand tools in stuff from like Legend of Zelda, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all kinds of. He did a really cool backpack. The back flap was Bilbo's door. The green door.
That's pretty cool. That is really cool.
It was really cool. He's fucking awesome. He's way cooler than me. But anyways, I completely lost my train of thought.
I don't know where we were going with that, but we were talking about Rings of Power, and then you said, "Oh, I've got something that's going to be really cool." So we were just getting started talking about Rings of Power, and then we had ones in the chat for fans and zeros in the chat for non-fans. And Ben Hennigar, welcome to the X-Force.
Welcome to the X-Force. We have to do a little.
Why can't you do this?
We can do that.
Okay.
Unless this is like, somebody on Twitter is like, oh, that means like,
Well, I mean, we can't even do thumbs up. Thumbs up is passive aggressive, apparently. So it's bound to. You didn't hear about that?
No.
Gen Z, you can't do the thumbs up emoji anymore. It's considered passive aggressive. So apparently giving
Towards what?
just if you give a thumbs up, that's considered like a passive aggressive like statement or a passive aggressive movement. Like,
what the fuck are you doing?
like, okay, bro, thumbs up. Like that's what they're feeling.
Thumbs up is passive aggressive, huh?
I'm not Gen Z, so I don't know what to tell you.
You know, it's so funny. Gen Z has become like the most based and the most shitty.
Are they based?
Dude, lots of them. Lots of Gen Zs are based. It's kind of crazy to watch it because I stay into the social ticker. Okay, I'm on TikTok, floating around, you know, checking out what the younger generations are doing. And there's two sides of it. One is the brain rot, skibbity riz toilet Ohio. Fuck, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's one side of it. And then the other side of it are like these kids that are like, yo, we got a problem here, guys. I'd like to grow up where I can eat food in a grocery store. And you're like, good for you, young buck. You know,
Can you imagine sitting in a classroom filled with a bunch of morons who are just saying words that are not words and just going, what in the fresh hell am I living in? Can you imagine being woke, not in the true sense of being awakened to what the real world is like, and sitting there surrounded by morons? I feel bad for those kids.
I kind of felt that way in high school before all the skibbity riz stuff. Orange Agonton for $1.99. Did I get this already? Said, didn't realize we were so close in age. I just turned 32. Yeah, I turned 33 in July.
I'm 21.
Kim Jong Maza for $1.99. As Supreme Reader, I will apologize to Star Wars. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I kind of wish that the Japanese would buy Star Wars. As bad as that sounds, they don't put up with the crap.
I mean, look at anime. Anime is still anime.
Well, that's something that we have to talk about. So that's a really good foray into the next segment. Keep that in your heart because that's what we're going to talk about. War of the Rohirrim is the next one. SWA gifted an X-Wing membership. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. You know what that means, right? It means I have to spend 5 minutes looking for the clip where we... Ben Hennigar became a YouTube member. Welcome to the X-Force. And Cajun Corey became a YouTube member. Welcome, brother, to the X-Force. Where is it? Because he wants to take credit for it, and he deserves it. It's gone. I'm sorry, Beardo. Yeah, I know. He actually came up with X-Force. We used to be called the Hangar Bay here. It was X-Wing's Hangar Bay.
It's right there. It's right under Cajun Corey's Welcome to the Recruit. It's weirdo. I came up with X-Force. You're welcome.
I hate it.
Really? It's so catchy.
Okay, so it feels weird to me. I'm like, the X-Force. I think of Deadpool.
I was gonna say, isn't there I would feel like the
totally
lesbian chick
Marvel
and the metal guy and Marvel, but you know what? You can take it and adopt it.
X-Force, yeah. I'm gonna steal it. I'm just keeping it. It's mine now.
Stupid!
Emotional damage.
I have that one too. Yeah. So moving into the next topic. War of the Rohirrim. This was I think the reason I pulled the stuff out is because, you know, my brother is a massive, massive fan of Lord of the Rings, and he was excited out of his freaking mind for this new anime that was going to come out. I didn't know it was going to be an anime. I just thought it was going to be a cartoon. But this anime, War of the Rohirrim. Let me see if I can pull up the trailer here. We're going to watch it together, and I want you to tell me what... Have you seen it yet?
Is the right answer yes or no?
It's whatever you want it to be.
I have seen it.
Truth would be okay.
Good.
So
yeah, I have seen it.
Truth. Let's stick with that one. I'm gonna pull it up. We're gonna get copyright struck, and that's completely fine with me. I don't care. I have to turn my music down. Okay, let's go ahead and share this. So at the beginning of this trailer, we get a bunch of footage from Peter Jackson's films. And basically they're trying to highlight, you know, we're headed back to Edoras. We're going back to, you know, the Rohirrim. This is the story that came before your favorite king Theoden, right? So we'll play this. We're going to play it all the way through. It's going to get me in trouble. I don't care. And I want you guys to tell me who you think this story is about in the chat. Okay. Watch the whole thing through. Tell me who is the main character in the story. You got audio? I'm getting nailed for that.
The tale of the War of the Ring. But 200 years before that,
Riders of the Mark, brothers of Rohan,
there was an older tale.
arise!
Just to, by the
I was
way,
gonna
really
say,
quick,
why don't you just hit pause every few seconds?
if the stream goes black for a second, we'll be back in like 5 or 10 seconds. Don't worry about it.
We come with an offer to strengthen Rohan.
Hera, daughter of Helm, I, Wolf, seek your hand in marriage.
Our fathers speak as if I were not even in the room.
I do not want to marry you.
You do not seek an alliance. You seek a throne. You will live to regret this.
By the way, we were talking about Troy earlier. Is that Agamemnon, the chief from Super Troopers?
The voice actor, you mean?
Yeah. That's
I'm
him,
not
isn't
sure.
it?
I don't
remember his
look that
name.
up.
Damn it, father! That's him.
That's Brian Cox, by the way.
Yeah.
And he is in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know. But he's also Agamemnon in Troy, and he's also the chief in Super Troopers.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what I'll
yes,
always
yes,
remember.
yes.
Yeah.
Old man. He's dead? You will pay for this with your life.
The boy I knew would never wish for war.
The boy you knew is gone.
Fire!
There's so many of them. I pledged to fight for my king.
You know nothing of war.
I'm the fastest rider you have. People need hope, Hera. Something to believe in.
My pride. My joy. You could rule the world. You think I am afraid of you?
You should be.
So wait, can I just say, she's human, right?
Yeah.
She's not like she's Galadriel with all the superpower shit. She's a human.
No, this is the daughter of Helm Hammerhand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to anybody who doesn't know, the story that we're telling right now is the story of the... All right, let me roll it back. If you've seen the Two Towers before, there's a battle that happens at a place called Helm's Deep. Okay? If anybody knows Helm's Deep, then you'll know Helm Hammerhand. Okay? Now, the story... I have not read it. This is one of those things where I want to be careful because I don't want to act like I know too much about something I know fucking nothing about. But it should be the story of Helm Hammerhand. Essentially, what happens is you have this Lord Helm. He's got a beautiful daughter who doesn't even have a name in the story, by the way. They didn't figure her important enough to give her a name in the story. This fellow lord comes by and says, hey, I'm going to marry your daughter. And Helm says, how about the fuck you don't? It pisses him off. They get in a fight outside when he's drunk. He punches him and kills him in one shot.
It's a hell of a punch.
Yeah, he punches him so hard, he just kills this guy right off the bat, and it sets off a war. Now, Helm Hammerhand is an absolutely bad mother effer. That's how he gets his name, Hammerhand, is by killing this guy with one punch. He basically this guy goes out in the storms at night in the middle of winter and just collects ears like it's freaking Vietnam. This guy is an absolute savage. The story of Helm Hammerhand is the story of Helm Hammerhand. So when we get the War of Rohirrim, we are hoping to get the story of Helm Hammerhand. But what we got was a trailer of the story of the daughter of Helm Hammerhand, who didn't even have a name in the story.
So we're not getting the actual guy who's got lore already. We're getting the chick who doesn't even have a name. That's our protagonist.
What I can already see are the tweets of, you got him in the series, what else do you want? That's what it feels like. And Gohan says it like, this is literally fan fiction, and I completely agree. They are creating a story as an offshoot from the story that was already told about Helm Hammerhand, so we can incorporate a fucking girl boss.
My problem with this is if you have something to back it up, like, let's be real, the elves have their elvish magic, right? Galadriel's a badass. I can, excuse that a little bit. But if you are a human woman in this era, what is this? This is like, what age of Middle Earth or Helm or are we in? It's like
Helm is in the, I believe, the first age.
Era, right? First age, right? This is back like,
again, I could be wrong.
This is back in the day when you have broadswords and actual wars on horseback. And what universe is a small female going to be like, you should be afraid of me? What is she using to back that up? Because she's fast on a horse?
So these are the things that I start to, as like a second-rate Lord of the Rings fan. I adore the Lord of the Rings, the movies, the Peter Jackson movies, because I was not the book. I actually didn't read through Lord of the Rings. Okay, really? I read The Hobbit. I didn't read through Lord of the Rings. Yes,
The Hobbit was better.
I am 1000% a second-hand Lord of the Rings fan through my brother, who anytime we get on the phone, we sit and we talk for 4 hours about our respective IPs. And so when he's like, what the hell is Operation Cinder? And I'm like, what the fuck what is the Silmarillion? Like, we try to educate each other on it. But I sat down and I asked him, what attracts you to the War of the Rohirrim? He was like, dude, it's fucking Helm Hammerhand. We're gonna be able to see Oliphants attacking, Edoras, like all this different kind of stuff, all these cool things. And I was 100% behind it because I saw, the concept art of what the show was going to look like, and it seemed like it was epic. It looked really cool. And then we started to see interviews from somebody who worked on the original Lord of the Rings, who's actually show heading the show, talking about what is this going to be like. And essentially she pulled the freaking who's the chick who's playing Snow White?
Rachel Zegler.
She pulled a Rachel Zegler and she's like, weird, and had that kind of attitude in the interview of like, that's the story that Tolkien would have told, but like, we want to tell a different story.
We're gonna reimagine it and filter it through our social constructs that we have today, because that's
shit makes me sick. I remember the interview with Peter Jackson when he's talking about Lord of the Rings and he says, this is not a Peter Jackson movie. It's a Tolkien movie. We make these movies for him. And then to hear somebody turn around and say, basically that, we're going to tell the story that he wouldn't tell. It's like, why? We're here because we love him. Why would you tell a story he wouldn't want to tell? So this one's a rough one for me. I'm not an anime guy. Off Jump Street, I've never been an anime guy. I haven't watched a bunch of anime. I watched the first season of Attack on Titan and I was like, damn, this shit is crazy, but like never really jumped back into it. Same thing with Dragon Ball Z. I watched it was like some section of episodes where they had basically like Mortal Kombat and they all fought each other on like some square mat, and I was kind of into that. But for me, for this to be anime is a tough entry point for me. And then beyond that, for it to kind of bastardize the story. I can't see any reason why I would want to be a part of that. And as an outsider of the Tolkien fan base, to have those two barriers to entry, I don't know why people would watch this, other than I have no fucking idea what the lore is. I don't care about the lore, and I'm into anime.
Yeah, I would say 100%. This is going to be I'm looking for anime on Netflix, and is it going to be on Netflix? Or what is it going to be?
I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I would have to assume it's got to be Amazon, right? Oh, Warner Bros. It's going to be Warner Bros. So, I don't know where they're putting it.
For some reason, I think it is, I feel like I saw that it was going to be on Netflix.
Amazon, yeah.
Oh, it is Amazon?
Yeah.
Well, whatever. So people have streaming services. They like anime. They look up, hey, that looks kind of cool. The actual animation, fantastic. Looks great. I love that style of anime.
It looks good.
Yeah. So unless you were really paying attention to the trailer, I'm going to say the first time I watched it, I was just more enjoying the pretty images. The second time I watched it, I started noticing what you were basically on my girl boss vibe here. Yeah. So unless you're not really paying attention or you're a fan of this of anything with Tolkien's world, I think a lot of people are gonna fall for it and try to watch it, and it's gonna
so
do what it does.
Again, this falls into the same category of these. It's a corporate entity taking hold of a beloved story and then just fucking it. And again, I guess I can understand from a corporate side point where there will be like, let's get as many people as we can get involved in these stories. We want, young girls to get excited about this Tolkien story. Well, I actually don't think Helm is a Tolkien story. I don't know. But
I think Tolkien, though, has a very heavy female fan base. I know tons of girls love reading, right? So they usually tend to come from the world.
Star Wars has a huge fucking female fan base. Yeah. They didn't have to do anything to it.
Yeah.
That's what's so frustrating. So, for me, again, this is one of those things where, I've seen Star Wars bastardized by a massive corporate entity who does not give a fuck about anything that happens in the universe, just so long as they can put butts in seats. But now they're reaping what they sowed. In the case of, we just kind of made what we wanted to make and put the Star Wars name on it. And now, we saw it with Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry, with Rings of Power season 1. Season 2 is coming out, and the critics are bashing it. And then now we have War of the Rohirrim, all these different things that completely disregard lore. And as a casual from the outside, it's really hard as a nerd, as a geek, to put yourself outside of our sphere. Just put yourself completely outside of our sphere. You don't know anything about any of the lore, any of these stories. You know nothing about it, and you just watch this trailer by itself. You'd still be like, yeah, that seems kind of like girl bossy, right? I mean, I don't know. Okay, it's his daughter, whatever. Maybe it's like the movie Brave that Disney put out. Maybe it'll be a really good story there. But to anybody who cares about this franchise, the people who really want to spend money there are going, what the fuck? Where's Helm?
Yeah. Especially since I read an article about it, and it literally said this is the anime that gives us the backstory of Helm's Deep. So this is literally what people are expecting.
Yeah. I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm done because I want to keep talking about this stuff, but it's like, how many times a week can you yell at a brick wall?
Just set your expectations really low.
Yeah. The bottom line is it will be pretty. It's going to be pretty to look at. And people may hate me in the chat for this. A couple of those saber fights in the Acolyte were pretty to look at, minus some really retarded stuff they did in those saber fights, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff. There was some pretty stuff to look at. But the bottom line is if you throw makeup on a turd or a hog, that doesn't mean it's attractive. You know what I mean?
Going back to your days of Hagen?
You shut your mouth. You hear me?
You brought it up. I'm just saying. Anyway, but yeah.
Emotional damage.
You're not gonna live that one down.
I never hogged. Let's get that clear. I take that back. I went hogging. I never hogged. I didn't go in the waller, as the cowboys would say. Never wound up in the waller.
You were just one of the wingmen.
Yeah, I was the pig collar. I stayed in the barn. I went soo-wee, 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 soo-wee. If you never called a pig, you know what that is. But yeah.
Can't say I have.
Cowboys do some pretty stupid shit when they're on the rodeo circuit. You get really bored. You spend a lot of time driving down a highway doing absolutely nothing. You get bored. Hey, I want to give a huge shout out, by the way, right here to Wiley Dave. My brother, he sent me, I think we're somewhere in the neighborhood of about 40 in-box 12-inch Star Wars figures.
Whoa.
They are... So, first off, I didn't have room because I can't show you what's going on in the studio right now, but it is floor to ceiling. I mean, like completely covered with 3.75 figures all the way. I had about 2 feet of room at the bottom, and so I've started stacking the 12-inch figures along the baseboards around the room.
Do you keep them in the box?
100%. Yeah, I'm a collector. My friend, my very, very short friend, John Graber, the second he gets anything Star Wars, he rips it out of the box right off the bat. And I can't imagine that. I've been collecting this stuff for so long. It has to stay on the card back. You know what I mean? And even with these 12-inch figures, I'll grab one right here. It has to stay in the original packaging. You know what I mean?
You can't see it. It's inside the box.
Well, this particular collector series has the flip open. A lot of them don't. A lot of them are kind of like, you know, it's on a bubble or whatever. But that figure, is trash outside of the box. It's not like very cool looking. When you take it out, you're like, oh, that's a shitty Luke Skywalker. But when it's on card back in the box, when you see it, you're like, dude, this is so cool. This is a collect. Check this one out. I'll share one more. This is probably my favorite one he sent me.
Don't give yourself a hernia.
Crap, I dropped one.
It's Wedge.
It's a twofer. This one's really cool because it's Wedge and it's Biggs. So you
that's pretty cool.
It's Wedge
cool.
and Biggs. This is one of my favorites. I could sit here and go through every single one of the ones he sent me. There are a bunch of them. My wife actually stole like two of them because they look like Barbies, and I'm like, don't touch them. She's like, no, we're just gonna stick them on the, because they're like Barbies. I'm like, dude, if you open those, I swear to God. She stole my A-list. It wasn't A-list security. It was Shock T. Stole my Shock T.
Do you have those outside your office? Like, is the rest of your house Star Wars themed, or is it just like contained in your man cave / studio?
Yeah, it's all man cave. The only thing I have that betrays the portal gate is on the front of my office door. There's a huge what do they call those things? Fat boys or like stickers or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a huge Darth Vader on the front of my door. That's it. You would never know I do anything Star Wars, but the second you open the door, it is an assault to the senses. Floor to ceiling. Have you ever seen like Gary's studio? Mm-hmm. It's like floor to ceiling, upside down, sideways, everywhere. It is everywhere, dude. It's everywhere. So
yeah,
there's always fun stuff to see.
If you ever venture into spreading it out to the house, there's a lot of really cool Star Wars kitchen appliances. There's actually an R2-D2 hot pot that I've been eyeballing, and a Death Star toaster that I've also got on my wish list. So
I have everything contained for a reason, because if I spilled it out in the house, my wife would be like, this is too much. I can't do this. So I keep everything pretty much dialed back. The only thing I do have is, the automatic salt and pepper dispensers? Mm-hmm. They're lightsabers.
That's cool.
That's it. Yeah. But I try to do the best I can to keep it kind of quiet. You know what I mean? But as the days go on and like the worse things get with Star Wars, I'm beginning to resent the things in this room. And that's a very bad thing.
No, don't do that, because that's your nostalgia. Those are your memories. That's your fandom. I just pretend, kind of like dissociate and pretend that all the stuff that's happening now, that's not Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. That's why I want to move away from that stuff on this channel. I've like really enjoyed what we've done over these past 2 hours, where we're just enjoying conversation, and it's not, you know, well, Greedo only had 2 wrinkles on his right finger, like, you know, stuff like that. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm ready to move on. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's talk some games. Let's do some politics. Let's have a good podcast where people can come and enjoy and have some laughs, because we need laughs right now. Badly. Badly.
Yeah, we do. So we're also going to talk about the destruction of other IPs in this podcast, is basically what we're going to do.
It's not just going to be one.
Not just Star Wars. We're going to do them all.
My man, Star Wars Dog, is in the chat, says, no need to pretend it's not Star Wars. Turd Ferguson says, X-Wing has come to hate the world he's created. Through no fault of my own. That's the hard part. That's the really hard part. But yeah, no, it's good. I mean, you know, it's like I said, it's awesome. I've got a bunch of figures up here that are like Ralph McQuarrie original figures. So there was a line that came out that instead of doing like what was in the movies, they took Ralph McQuarrie's original concept art and they made the figures out of Ralph McQuarrie's concept art. So like I've got all that stuff there. I've got like the Palpatine that has a blue lightsaber, which is wrong. You know, I've got figures over here where it says like Princess Leia and Wicket the Ewok, but it's like Han Solo and Lando Calrissian, you know, fun stuff like that. And then like a bunch of helmets and, oh, this is really cool. One other thing I want to show you.
Just a reminder that X-Wing is literally saying, this is not a Star Wars show, as we're going over his Star Wars stuff, which I love, by the way.
So these are really cool because it was just slightly before my time. Check these out. Wiley Dave sent me the special widescreen edition laser discs.
Oh my goodness.
Of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
Have you ever seen a Laserdisc player?
Dude, look at the quality of this. Dude, they are maintained perfectly.
That is cool.
There's no wrinkling. There's no nothing. These things are absolutely gorgeous. So, huge fan. Huge fan of these.
I'm surprised. Well, you're not opening them, so I was going to say I'm surprised you didn't track down a Laserdisc player.
So, I've never had one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a Laserdisc player looks like.
It almost looks like a record player.
Freaking huge.
Yeah, it almost looks like a vinyl record player.
Yeah.
But in size, dimensions, whatever. But the discs are like ginormous CDs.
Yeah, it's like it's a big record. It's like a 44. They're huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It fits in this.
Mm-hmm.
But I love these more for just like the artwork on them. I mean, dude, it is in immaculate condition. Immaculate condition. Absolutely perfect condition. So, I don't know. I'm going to cherish the heck out of those. I kind of want to like frame them, but at the same time, I also want to get a Laserdisc player and like figure out how to hook it up to my TV and watch the Laserdisc. You know what I mean? My wife is like, oh, cool. You got like the original soundtrack on record. I'm like, no, that's basically what a DVD used to be.
I'm looking them up right now. Yeah, you can get them used on eBay for like 100. I'm seeing them ranging about 130 to 250 bucks.
What were the hookups on a Laserdisc? Was it red, white, yellow?
I'm not sure. Actually, not old enough to know that.
Somebody in the chat, somebody let me know. What were the hookups like on a laser disc?
Yes.
Is it
yes.
red,
yes.
white, yellow?
Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, they
Okay.
are. I'm looking at a picture of the cords. Yes.
So
That's what it
I mean, nowadays you can legitimately go to like Amazon and get a red, white, yellow adapter to HDMI.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's happening.
Do it.
100%. 100%. All right, well, kids, we've been going for 2 freaking hours. Joe, Rosie, this was wonderful. I enjoyed this.
I had fun too.
We were a little disorganized. We called each other last night. You're like, what should we talk about? Like, oh, fuck, I don't know. Stuff.
We figured it out.
Yeah. I think as these things go on, and by the way, to anybody who doesn't know, this will be a recurring show every single Wednesday after Bro Science. We'll be doing this stuff. We'll be talking about everything underneath the sun. But I really love the idea of talking about cool old stuff like that, like laser discs. I love talking about stuff like that. We have to get through, obviously everything modern, as it were. And Rings of Power starts on Thursday, I believe. Are you gonna watch it?
I'm gonna watch it for you.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is on Sunday mornings, I'm gonna do a coffee show with my older brother Philip, who is like the Tolkien historian. He's not going to watch the show. I'm going to have to try to tell him what happened in Rings of Power, and we're just going to watch his reaction to what I'm telling him, which should be really interesting. And then Wednesday, we'll gather it back up. We'll talk about it. We've got a show coming soon. What's it called? Skeleton Crew. That's going to be great for Star Wars. I think it's going to be awesome.
Is that the one with the kids?
Jude Law as a Jedi is going to be incredible. Yeah, they have Max Rebo as a baby. It's going to be incredible. Other than that, I mean, we'll talk about gaming news. We'll talk about anything. The chat can steer the podcast as well. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, please let me know. Drop a like. Go into the comments and say, hey, next Wednesday, do you want to talk about this? And then I think every once in a blue moon, we might live up to the Wing Wednesday name and order some hot wings and then do like some trivia or something. You know what I mean? Like if you get the question wrong, you got to bang out an atomic hot wing from Wingstop or something like that. Ooh. I think it could be fun. We're going to have to do something with wings every once in a while, but this isn't going to be hot wings every single Wednesday. But yeah, it was fun. Thank you everyone for being here. Joe, Rosie, why don't you let us know where you are, where we can follow you, what you do, who are you?
Yeah, absolutely. Go give me a follow on Real Joe Rosie on YouTube. I'm also on Kick if you do that. I have a relatively new channel on YouTube, so I'm trying to get to my 500 subs and that watch hour. So go give me a follow if you don't already and help me get closer to that goal.
Do we still have mods left in the chat? And if we don't, that means I have to mod some people. I'm looking through chat. We don't have mods. I'm so stingy with the wrench. That's the problem.
I was gonna say I didn't see a huge amount of mods to begin with. You're not very trustworthy.
I'm stingy with the mods. No, I'm very stingy with the mods. I'm like, dude, if anybody wants to be a part of this community, I got to rely on them. So let me grab your link and I'll throw it in there to make sure.
I got it. I have a wrench. Yeah.
Oh, you do have a wrench. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Please go follow Joe Rosie. And then expect to see her again next Wednesday. Oh, you know what? I should get Nagranol in there.
I was gonna say he's
Nagranol. I'm gonna mod you. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna mod you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for the first inaugural Wing Wednesday. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. Joe, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
It's my birthday next week, so
Ooh.
I'm turning 22. I'm sure I'm gonna do something online on my gaming channel. So if I decide, I'm not gonna do anything crazy like a 24-hour or 2 12-hour streams. I'm not doing that because I just think I would die. But I don't know. I'll probably do a gaming stream. So come hang out. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. All right, everybody, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you on the next one. See ya.
Perfect.